Welcome to this live session. Sorry, we're trying to be on other gadgets. How are you doing this beautiful Thursday afternoon? Welcome to this live broadcast. I hope you were here with us last week because we have plans to be here with you every Thursday at 3 p.m. All right, I want to start this session by saying that a child's willingness is not built in the moment. When you have a child who is not willing to try out something, when you have a child that is not interested in trying new things, right? That's refusal or that's willingness or lack of it is not built in the moment. It is built in the child's environment, the child's experiences, and how the child views themselves. Good afternoon. My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And yes, I am also the proud matron of the Children's Mastermind Circle, a mentorship program that we run for young children. Yes. Today, our topic is why your child is unwilling to try on their own and how you can help them. If you can see me and you can hear me, please say something, okay, to let me know that you are with me, you can see me and you can hear me. And of course, if you are catching the replay of this session, do let us know where you are joining or where you joined from. But if you're on the stream right now, also let us know that you were here and let us know where you are joining us from. Welcome on board. Now, I hear parents say these things a lot because, of course, I work with parents and I work with young children and by extension, right, with their parents. Sorry, I am getting a call. All right, sorry about that. So I work with young children and by extension, their parents. So these are some of the kind of things that I hear from these parents. I hear things like, my child doesn't like to try, my child doesn't do anything until he's told to do so, right? And then my child gives up easily. These are the kind of things that you hear from parents of young children. But we're saying today that children are not naturally unwilling. As a matter of fact, children want to try. Young children enjoy exploring. So they want to try out new things. They want to break new grounds. They want to explore new things, new ideas. So naturally, a child would like to try. Naturally, a child is wired to try new things until the environment, until their experiences, until life begins to happen. So children would willingly want to try, okay? But the thing that stops a child from wanting to try is because the child has learned not to try. Let me take that again. A child naturally would like to try. Your young children, you know, when I am talking about your young children most of the time. I'm talking about your 5, your 6, your 8, your 10-year-olds. This extends even to your preteens. Your young children want to try. If you're a toddler parent, then you know what I'm talking about, right? You have a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old. You know that they want to, by default, they're excited about everything. They're excited about the things, their environment, the things around them. Even your younger children are so excited about the world around them that they want to unravel it. They want to try. They want to see how the things around them work. So yes, the child would willingly want to try. The reason the child is not trying is because the child has learned over time not to try. They've learned over time not to try. And how does that happen? It happens with a little, don't touch it. Don't go there. Stop it. You are restless. You know too much. Those are the inhibitors that stop the natural instinct that a child has to try. Those are the things that we as parents introduce in our children's life, in their environment, that become their experiences that now inhibit their ability to try or their willingness to try. So children would naturally try until they are taught not to try. Children will naturally try until they have been trained over time not to try. And how does this happen? It is a problem of the roots. It is a problem of where the child is coming from. It is a problem of who is raising the child. It is a problem of the environment where the child is being raised. It is a problem of what the people who are raising the child know. And of course, it becomes an identity problem. So the child is not trying because of a mindset. It is the mindset that the child has built over time thanks to the people who are raising him. It is the mindset that has been built thanks to the environment where that child is growing. It is the mindset that is built thanks to what that child is allowed to do, the freedom, right, that the child has been given. This is what forms the mindset that would determine whether the child starts or the child wants to try something or not. The ability to try is not just a behavior problem. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not a behavior thing. It is a belief system, a system that the child has come to believe over time. It is the belief system that says, I can try. It is the belief system that says, I can try, or I can do it, or I can't do it, or I won't do it. It's a belief system. Sometimes that belief system sounds something like, I won't know the outcome until I try. So whether your child is trying or not is determined from the roots. And that root is the child's ability to say, I can, or I cannot, or I am willing to try. Or if I do not try, how do I know that I can or I cannot? All of these are shown, or all of these come from a mindset that has been built in the child over time. By who? By the people who raise the child, by the environment where the child lives, and by the identity that the child has built over time. This mindset is deeply rooted and is built over time, dear parents. So the question you want to start asking yourself is, what kind of mindset am I building in my child? The question you want to ask yourself, you want to start asking yourself is, what am I gradually passing down to my children? What kind of mindset am I helping my child build gradually? Because it's what you do every day. It's what you say every day. It's what you believe every day. It's what the child sees every day that will help them form this mindset. What builds this mindset? Let's talk about some of the things that build this mindset, right? So to raise a child who tries, you must be intentional. You must be intentional. And what are you intentional about? You must be intentional about the experiences that you are creating for that child. Are you creating experiences in your home? Are you creating experiences in your classroom? Are you creating experiences in your program that tells the child that they can win? Are you creating experiences that help the children know that they are capable of anything that they put their mind to? Are you creating experiences? All right, sorry about that. Are you creating experiences in your child's environment that are pushing, that are stretching, that are teaching the child to think more of themselves and more of what it is that they're capable of? Are you creating experiences that stretch the children? Or are you one of those parents that are constantly telling yourself and the people around you that they are children, they will learn when they grow up. They are children, they will come around. And this is the problem. This is a problem a lot of the times. I remember sometime, a couple of years ago, I had met this friend of mine, my very amazing, beautiful friend, by the way. And, she said to me one day that she was upset with me. That's how she put it. Like, I'm not, I mean, everything is beautiful, but there's something you do that I don't like, And I'm like, what is that? And she's like, okay, that you get the children, or that you get your son to do ABCD. Like, at that time, he had already started getting up and packing his food, putting his food together, packing his food for school, and all of that. And she thought that was a little too much for how old was he at that time? 11, 12-year old and all of that, And then we started having the conversation. Now, it isn't about whether he's packing food for himself or not. Food that, by the way, must have been cooked like 80% the previous day, and all of that. It wasn't about the food. It was about the discipline. It was about the character that we're building from him waking up in the morning and knowing that, oh, I need to go to school. And if I need to go to school early and I need to make it early, then I need to wake up at so and so time. And I need to get this done. Putting the child in that place where the child begins to think beyond just jumping in the car and arriving in school. Where the child begins to think responsibly and begins to see themselves as someone that is capable of making something happen. Because at this time, our son didn't have to pack for just himself. He had to pack food for both him and his younger sister. It's putting him in that space at age 11, 12, where he is thinking responsibly about himself and thinking of how other people depended on him. That's the whole idea. If we don't stretch our children this way, if we don't give them opportunity to be resilient, if we don't give them opportunities, right, to stretch themselves, to build that grit, and all that they need, then you realize that you wake up one day and you have your 17 and 18-year-old that cannot stretch themselves. You have young people that will go to places where they work, or go to places where they intern, and someone just ruffles them a little, and they do not have the capacity, they do not have the ability to withstand anything that is not direct, straightforward, and easy. They throw in the towel and they bounce, simply because we did not give them the opportunity to stretch or build their capacities in these areas. Very important that we begin to see this. I read a story today, our son will turn 17 in a few months, okay? And our son has manned my kitchen, more, he has managed more, like, let's put it that way. He has managed my kitchen since he was 11. I stopped having house helps when our son turned 10. It was a decision we decided in our home. So since our son was 10, he started learning, we started doing a lot of, there was nobody to do it anymore, isn't it? So there was a lot of mentoring, there was a lot of trying, there was a lot of giving the opportunity for him to do this thing. So our son learned to, do dishes, make meals. He learned to do dishes, make meals. He learned to, cater for himself and his sister, learned to cater for us over time, right? At some point, he started making Thursday meals. We cook jollof, we cook rice on Thursday. So at some point, it became his responsibility to make meals on Thursdays. Whether the meal turned out okay or didn't turn out okay, we ate anyway. So over time, he has learned and he has built capacity in the kitchen. Because I tell you something, there is nowhere where children build and develop executive functioning skills like in the kitchen. The kitchen has so many opportunities and so many ways to help children build this. And so we used it. We used our children learning to navigate in the kitchen. Our son at the time navigate in the kitchen to help him build so many basic skills that he needed. Skills like, making informed decisions, initiating tasks, being disciplined, knowing when this is meant to be done, and all of that, being the one who makes things happen, working memory, being able to remember what he started, going back to finish, staying through tasks from the beginning to the end. He had to learn all of this. And I tell you, this skill did not remain with him in the kitchen. These are the same skills that he is taking into every other thing that he is doing. Has he arrived? No, he's still a work in progress. But this was a way, or this is a system that we created for him to build or to develop these skills, over time. And so I was telling you the story of how last week I said to him, right, that I was taking him, that he was stepping down from that duty. So, like, if you come to my home, my son is the one, I have finished cooking, or we're cooking, he's the one washing the pot, he's the one doing all of that, and all that. So I told him that's not his duty anymore. It's not to say that when you finish eating, you're not going to wash your plate and keep it. It's not to say that when I need help, I can't call on you and you help. But basically, it's not your task anymore. It's not your responsibility anymore. And he was so excited about it. Now, this is it. We have used this system to help him build the basic skills that he needs in this area. Now he is almost 17, and really, just the way he said, I think there are more relevant things that I can do than just, there's nothing, it's not a proving point kind of thing. So there's nothing, about heaping a bunch of plates and having the 17-year-old boy stay there and do it back to back. My daughter has come of age. She's about 11, and it's about time for her to go through that system also. So, of course, I relieved him of the system. You can do other things, of course, but then, and all of that. But what I'm trying to say is, if you don't create systems like this, if you don't create environments like this, if you don't create experiences like this where the children can learn easily, or the children can learn effortlessly, then you may have a child that will struggle, right, with this in the future. I tell you what, I relieved him of that last week. It didn't matter. He was, every time he was in the kitchen and he needed to do anything, he just did it anyway. Anytime he was in the kitchen and he had just finished making a meal for himself, he just washed off anyway and all of that. See, now this has become a skill that has been internalized just because we created a system. So very important. It's important that we create experiences. Number 2 is positive mindset. Your child is not automatically just going to accept or begin to look at life positively. You have to build a positive mindset in your child. You have to build this mindset in the child. I said, right earlier on, I said this mindset is built gradually over time. So what are you saying in your home? What do you believe in your home? What is acceptable in your home? What are the taglines, right? What are the taglines that as a family you hold on to, that you use to remind your children of who you are and what you believe in and what is acceptable in your home? We're not saying these are rules. We're saying create a belief system. Okay, I listened to my mentor the other day saying, right, when you create a belief system, when you create a value system that says, this isn't us, we don't do that here. What it does is it moves from rules. All right, it moves from you just merely giving rules to your children to creating a whole legacy and creating a whole system where this is who we are and this is what we do. If it's not this, you can't find us there. That's what we need to learn to do as parents. Create a system or create a legacy that our children will step into, own, and it becomes them. That's how they internalize, and this becomes who they are and not just what it is that they do. Not just what they do because people say they should, or because you forced them to do it. Very important. Number 3, a positive sense of identity is important. Do you know sometimes your children will not try because they don't feel that they can or they are worth that? They don't think that they don't think of themselves as someone who can do that thing. They don't think of it as something that is in their league. That's the way to put it. Your child can refuse to do something, refuse to try something, refuse to push themselves in certain areas because they think that that particular thing belongs to certain class of people, certain elites. And so your child already sees themselves as someone who isn't capable to have their voice or have their voice heard in this particular area when it comes to this kind of issue. They feel like I am a nobody in the scene, right? Sometimes you see those things happen even in the classroom. I mean, I can tell you this for free as a teacher. There are things that will come up, there are conversations that will come up in the classroom, and you see certain children will not even budge, they will not even get into the conversation. It's as if they are completely raising their hand and saying, what do I know? What can I see? Do you understand? So teach your children that their voice matters. This is what we do in the mastermind circle. I say to the children every time, as it is, we call ourselves in the mastermind circle, we call ourselves little people with big minds. So you are a mastermind. You are a person with a little body, but a big mind and a bold voice. So your voice is big, your voice is bold. It doesn't matter if you are in a small body. You are a mastermind. So when these are the kind of things that we repeatedly say to our children, these are the kind of things that we repeatedly, the kind of opportunity and space that we repeatedly allow our children step into. And we don't just say this as, a matter of just speaking affirmations. We actually get them to do things, and we get them to try things that says, you can, and your voice matter, and your effort is recognized. So very important, these three things. Now, this is also one of the reasons that we created the 14 days Purpose Builders Challenge. The Purpose Builders Challenge, right, is particularly or was particularly created to make children see themselves as giants. That's challenge. We do a lot of challenges in the academy, right? Because of the group of children or the age of children that we cater to, right? So we are working with 5, 6, 7, 10-year-olds. And so we know that, just giving them instructions and coming to teach them in a class like this and then going away is not enough. We need to put them in a system regularly. We need to put them on an activity and allow them do that activity back to back consistently. We need to put them on a repetition mode when we teach them, because this is the place, or this is the point where they where they are in their lives, right? The point where they have to put their hands to the plow and do these things repeatedly until they understand the why, until it takes root, and until they learn how to navigate these things, because now they understand the why, and then of course they have built their capacity in these areas. So yes, we put them through challenges where they can stay on it, right? And while they stay on it, they are thinking. While they stay on it, they're building resilience, tenacity, grit, and all of that. So that's why we put children through challenges. So this particular challenge that we're doing right now is to help children get to the point where the child can actually think of something that they can do. So the children are already brainstorming and having conversations with their parents today. The challenge started today. So today is day 0 of the challenge. So the full challenge starts tomorrow. So today is day 0. So you can jump in and join us in the challenge if you are not in that challenge already. Right, so today is day 0, and the children are doing a lot of brainstorming today. They are thinking, what can I do? What can I create from scratch? What can I build? We call them builders. What can I build from scratch? Now, when they're done brainstorming, when they're done thinking, when they're done telling themselves that I can, because that's the idea. I said some children will not try at all because the mindset is, I cannot. The mindset is, I am not capable of. The mindset is, what if I fail? The mindset is, this is not for me. It's for more brilliant people, more intelligent people. Now we're moving children. We're going to move children from that place, right? And if we're going to change that mindset gradually, just the way we built it over time. then we need to get them into the place where they can start thinking and saying, how would I know that I can or I can't if I do not try? So this challenge is to get the child to first of all say, I can. Is to get the child to first of all say, I can try, or I'm willing to try. So the children will think of what it is that they want to do, right? Today they're brainstorming that already. And then they will put it on paper. They will do something that is a matter of principle. They will write the vision down. They will write the vision down, and the next thing is they're going to be planning how to execute this during the period of the challenge. Yesterday, I shared a post and I gave so many, I gave up to 10 ideas for the kind of things that the children can venture into in the challenge. My daughter loves animals and she's going to be in the challenge. She loves animals, and she said she thinks people need to know more about animals. How their lifestyle, right? The danger of each of these animals, and if for any reason you encounter them or you are endangered by them, what you can do to save yourself, or what you can do, in the situation. So she wants to create awareness around animals. And so for the challenge, she's going to create a scrapbook. So she's going to create a scrapbook for the challenge. And today after school, we're going to sit down and brainstorm what she wants to what she wants to build in this challenge. She already knows what she wants to do. She's already brainstormed and thought of what it is that she wants to do. Now, how is she going to go about it? That's what the next level is. And I am just going to be sitting down there and having her think up these ideas on her own, right? Offering prompts and answering questions and supporting her if she needs to be supported. But 90% of what it is going to be done by her. She's going to have to challenge herself by herself because it's her challenge. Do you get it? Now, when she's done with this, we are going to go ahead and create a plan. We have a template that will guide the children to build and create their own plans. And so they're able to put that in perspective, and the work continues from there. So it's such an amazing opportunity to get, if you want to change that mindset, if you want to start building the right mindset, you want to get intentional about this. You've been doing all of this, but you were not really intentional about it. Okay, you want to get intentional about it. This is the opportunity for you. You're a parent that you think, okay, you've done a lot of work with the child, but at this point you would like to see where the child is at, and if the child is able to initiate something, stay on it to the end on your own. This is your launch. This is your opportunity to get the child, to launch the child that way, or get the child to do something and launch on their own. So there's so many things. It doesn't have to be that your child is starting a business straight away. It doesn't have to be that your child is showing up online. There's so many things. There's so many things that they can do. There's so many things, that they can get into right now. Very, very key. Okay, so these are some of the things that they will get to start something. They will get to be guided to think. They will get to think about something. They'll be guided to think up a plan and come up with a plan to initiate. The child will learn to practice consistently. We're talking about consistency. The child will get to learn to practice consistently. The child will get to stay on that task and complete that task. And of course, the child will finish, and the child will get a chance to present it. And we will get the children to the point where the children can go from I can, I tried, and I did it. Do you know what that can do to a child's confidence? Do you know what that can do to a child's convictions? Do you know what that can do to a child's sense of identity? Do you know what that can do to the child's competence? So this is what all of this is about. So let's look at 5 reasons why your child isn't trying. Right? Why your child isn't trying. 5 ways that you can get your child to that place where you mess up their mindset, right? To the point where the child is not willing to try. Number 1, constant criticism. If you're a parent that sees the need to correct the child every step of the way, there is no single day. Okay, a way to check this or the way to check yourself is think about it and think about yourself. If you are that parent that a day cannot go by without you seeing or criticizing something that your child has done or is doing, you are you're on your way to raising a child who feels constantly judged. Are we saying that the children don't do things wrong? Are we saying that your child will always be correct? Are we saying that you should ignore that your child is wrong? No, we're not saying that. But we're saying you want to be very strategic in the feedback that you give your child, and you want to learn various feedback methods that you can give your child. Above all, you want to learn natural consequences, okay, and how to serve natural consequences that will help the child go back, reflect, and bounce back on their own. So you want to create a system where you have, you want to create a system where your child is even able to figure out their mistakes or wrongs on their own and be able to correct and bounce back on their own. So that's part of the things that you learn when we work with your children, when we work with you, and then when you join us in the systems that we have created. Very important. Number two, when you have a culture of shame. If we know what shame does to our children, if we know what shame is capable of doing to your young child, especially your 5-year-old, your 6-year-old, your 10-year-old, these little children who are still in that place where identity formation is just emerging. These children who are in that place where they are trying to, understand the world, and they're trying to see themselves as a part of it. Children who are trying to form a sense of identity, right? And then you come with all this, you never know how to do this, you don't do this, you are constantly shaming them, cry, baby, all of those, the many things, right? PC, all of those things that we do. When we have the culture, some of us even threaten our children every time they do things wrong, and we tell them, I am going to disgrace you in front of your friends. You may not end up disgracing them in front of their friends, but I tell you, that feeling, the feeling that comes with you disgracing them, the moment you threaten your child with it, your child already has an experience of it. At some point, that child can tell a story sometime in the future and will actually paint a picture of you shaming them, because every of you actually disgracing them without even realizing that you never came around to doing it. Because every time you say these things to the child creates a picture of his head of what it looks like. Probably he's seen you shame someone before, or he's seen someone being shamed before, or you've done it once and you stop, but that picture is there. And the child is able to capture that picture or create that picture on his own, and things that you even did it even when you've not done it. So threatening children that you would do a thing that you don't end up doing is as bad as even doing it on its own. So don't even threaten them. All right, don't even threaten them. There are many other ways that you can discipline, many other ways that you can help children understand that something needs to be done without having to threaten them or have to shame them. All right, so shaming destroys the foundation of your child's confidence. That's what shaming does. It erodes your child's, sense of self. It erodes your child's sense of competency. Okay, so it makes the child feel like you're not good enough, you don't know anything, other people are better than you, and all of that. So it's sad that sometimes our children's, lack of confidence, right? Our children's timidity and all of that is actually cultured, right? And formed right from home by the things that we say, the things that we do, and the way that we parent them. So it's something we need to start paying more attention to as parents, okay? The other one is the culture of shame. I talked about that lack of competencies. When we don't build our children, when we don't help our children learn skills, when we don't teach them how to do things, right? So the reason your child is unwilling to do things, or one of the reasons they may be unwilling to do things, could be because your child doesn't feel competent enough. Boldness comes from your ability to say to yourself, I can do it. So when a child has experienced something, the child, fear, that initial energy or initial belief that they can is broken, or it comes alive when the child tries. So I'll give you a story. I remember back then when I started, when our son was 9, 10, and I had started actively on my intentional parent journey, right? So I had started following Coach Wendy, and building and all of that. And we were talking at that time about children being able to learn travel skills, and travel skills doesn't necessarily mean that they're traveling from one place. They're traveling far or going, on a drive, or flying. It starts first of all, from your child being able to move from one point to the next. All right. So I had decided to try something. I wanted our son to go down the road to get something. At that point, he had never really done, going down the road on his own. And I wasn't living in an estate at the time. Right. So meaning he had to, in the city, he had to leave the house and go all the way, a street away, 2 streets away to try and get something. I didn't really need that, but I wanted to put him in that space where he can try. Right. So I had sent him out to get me something. I can't remember what exactly, maybe a lighter or something, and he stepped out to go and get it. And daddy was outside doing some things in his car. And he's like, where are you going to? Because now our son was going for the gate. He was going to go out. I think he was about 9 then. He was going to go out of the gate. And he's like, where are you going to? And he's like, mommy sent me to go to so and so place. And daddy was like, go back inside. I'll talk to your mom. So the conversation was, why are you sending him out? I just smiled. I was like, oh, well, nah. Sure, you are here. And you can see this. If you're not here, sure, would have gone. I would have come back, So of course I try to make him understand. If he doesn't do these things, that he doesn't break that, that initial fear that he can. Right. And then after that, we tried it once, of course, I had to do this with him once, twice. Of course, I started doing that with them at the time. We will work together, we will go and come together. But there's that thing about, I didn't have anyone, right? So first of all, you go with them, you show them, you teach them. Right, then you do it together so that they know how to do it, so that they build, the competence that they need to do that thing. And then you step back and allow them try it on their own. The moment they try it on their own, they do it one time, all fear is broken. That thing that's been stopping them, inhibiting them for the longest, goes away, because now the child has tried, the child has done it, and the child can see that they can do it. There is nothing that says I can than I did. So when children are able to do things, right, when they do something, then of course they can say I can without a doubt. So the reason your child is afraid is because you haven't built competencies. Because you haven't built skills in them. So if we're going to have children who are willing to try new things, if we're going to have children who are willing to push themselves beyond limits, they will need this when they become teenagers. It's not when your child becomes a teenager that he begins to learn how to be resourceful. It starts today. It starts now that they are younger. So by the time they become teenagers, they are already highly productive and resourceful. By the time they become young adults, they can practically navigate all kinds of bends, and turns in life, just because we started early, just because they have done this over and over again, just because they have tried, just because, right, they have built capacity. And then, of course, the next one is a poor sense of self. We've said that. So when we raise children, or we don't give them opportunity to try, when you don't give your child opportunity to try, you think that you're helping them. But of course, you are not exactly helping. You're not helping them. You're actually stifling them. You're bottling them, and of course, they now begin to think that this particular thing is for a certain kind of people. Right, a certain kind of people, your child says there, I said that before, and he sees certain things as what belongs to a class of people. It's not what I can do. Just because he doesn't have the experience, just because he's not being allowed to try, just because he's not been given the opportunity to explore. All right. So it's important that as parents, we broaden our children's horizon. Okay. Broaden their horizon, give them opportunity to try, let them do things, give them permission, right, to explore. And as they do, they will it builds their sense of self-worth. I've said it before, nothing builds your child's confidence like trying, right? Nothing builds confidence like competence. The more competent you are, the more you are able to try. Our daughter was in spelling bee yesterday, and then she came off, early, and we were talking about it later in the day. And I was saying, her brother and I were all discussing with her, and she was like, "Oh, I actually went off. I came off because I was afraid." And her brother said the reason you were afraid is because you did not practice. And she's like, "No, you can tell me to spell anything, I'll spell for you," and all that. And he said, "You are my sister. I know you. I know that you don't struggle. I mean, you have won speaking competitions, you have won, all kinds of things. You've won declamation contests. So you are not one to say that the stage frightened you to the point that you totally forgot." All right. In your case, he was saying, in your case, the reason that you were not confident, or the reason that you were afraid, was because you didn't practice. And that's it. The less practice you do, the less the less competence you have, the more afraid you are. So if you want to raise children who can try, you want to raise children who are not afraid to push themselves, to try, then you have to skill them up. You have to build their competencies, because with that comes boldness and confidence. Last of all is over dependence. When we raise children and we surround their lives with people who do everything for them, right? The moment you do this, what you're doing is you're raising someone who is going to be dependent on others. The child is going to be dependent on you and the systems of people that you have created around their life to enable them. So they don't think anything is their responsibility. They don't think there is a need to even try, because now they believe some other person is meant to do those things for them. We think it's a bourgeois kind of life. We think I mean, I don't know. We think it's all kinds of things, but I tell you, you're taking away from your children if you don't let them try. It doesn't matter how much you command. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are. It doesn't matter how many people answer, or how many people at your beck and call. Your child has got a life, and the child has got skills to learn, and your child has a right to learn and understand the world on their own. Don't shield them too much. Allow them to try. Allow them to put themselves out there, and discover discover the world on their own. All right. The last one. Okay, I think that's about the last one that we're going to be talking about today. All right. So let's look at other ways that you make children fail and make them not try. All right. When you start with small, other ways that you can, apart from, we said you can bring them into the challenge, right? Bring them into the challenge, and in that challenge, we will build all of these all at the same time. If you bring them to the challenge, we'll build all of this at the same time. Other things you want to do is start them with small, achievable tasks. Let your children do small, achievable tasks. As they do these, they will get better at what it is that you do. They will become more confident, in what they do. Ask more, right? Ask them more questions, about the things they need to do than instructing them. Don't instruct them. Teach them and ask them ask them, what would you do? How would you solve this problem? How would you navigate through this challenge, right? Rather than tell them what to do, rather than instruct them all the time. The other one is you want to celebrate their efforts and completion. Celebrating the child finishing a task is such a huge thing that you want to do for your children. Right? Celebrate every time your child completes a task, because now they know it is important that they're able to finish what they start. Okay? Now they know it's something that is worth teaching and ingraining in your children. Come up with taglines, come up with quotes and saying in your home. Come up with come up with your values. Ingrain this into the values that you have as a family. Let your children know that they finish the things that they start. Finishing is so important. For all we know, it is not for all we know. In fact, it is the difference between successful people and people who are super intelligent and yet not successful. So it's very important that we need to, grind this into our children as early as possible. All right. The last one, give your children ownership early. Give them ownership as early as possible. This is what we're doing in this challenge. Let your child come and pick a project on his own. Let your child plan how to execute that project. Let your child work on that project. Let your child come up every day and do something that they have planned to do in this project. Let them build and see this project come alive at the end of the 14-day period. Now that child will own that thing. That child will see it as something that they created. That child will see it as their creation. They can see it as their creation, the thing that they innovated. And there is nothing that empowers. There is nothing that empowers as much as owning a thing. So give your children ownership as early as possible. All righty, so this is where we come to the end of this session. I have enjoyed the session thoroughly. Thank you for joining me. If you're a parent of a child between ages 5 and, in fact, we don't even, if your child is 6 and above, they can join this challenge. My 17-year-old is joining this challenge, and that's because the challenge is an individual thing. We're here to support them. We're here to mentor them through the process. We are here to give them accountability through the process, okay? But it's the child's task and the child, it's the child's project, and the child is going to own it, and we will be here to remind them why they are in it. So they would have to see why they are in it, understand their why, and then throttle through this on their own. Very key. Thank you again for joining me. If you'd like to be a part of, or like your child to be a part of this program, of the challenge, then we have the information scrolling on YouTube. Just use the information and join us on Facebook. Just check in the comment section and you will see all the details that you need to register your child for the challenge. Umpire is already set. I'm all set for this challenge, and I can't wait to see the children build, to see them unfold, and to see them bring their creation to life. Thank you again. Have a fantastic rest of the day. I'll see you next week at the same time, 3 p.m. when we come your way with another episode of our weekly webinar. So for now, have a beautiful week ahead. Have a fantastic week ahead. And thank you for joining me. And if you are in Abuja, the TIP Summit is coming to your city, and I am going to be speaking at that summit. The Intentional Parents Summit Abuja is next Saturday, not this one, upper Saturday, okay? And it's something it's a gathering you do not want to miss. I'm going to be speaking at that summit. So make your way, head to Merit House. Yes, it's Merit House. Head to Merit House at 10 p.m. Saturday, the 9th of May, and I would like to see you, give you a hug, and then, of course, we learn, because it will be packed. It will be packed with, transformative experience. Thank you for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye. Bye.